This is Chris Cobb, and I am here to give you a 30-minute balance practice. There are lots of things that we can do to improve our balance, and there's some specific things you can do which will really help you maintain good balance and decrease your risk of falls. So for this little class, you'll want to maybe get a pillow or something that's a little unsteady, even if it's just a small pillow or blanket folded up, so you can practice some ankle mobility on an unstable surface. If you have something to hold on to, maybe a chair, or get next to a wall so that you have something to help your balance if you're having difficulty with any of the activities that we do. And that's pretty much it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what we need for good balance. We need our vision. We need our proprioceptive system, which is their ability to feel and adjust to uneven surfaces or things that come up unexpectedly. And we also need our vestibular system, which is our inner ear. So those are the three things we're going to focus on, or actually two things. Your vision, you can't really change if you have visual difficulties, but you can train the other two systems to accommodate for any visual difficulties you may have. And then we can train our muscles to be stronger and more flexible to be able to react more easily to changes in balance challenges. And we can also work on just our vestibular and visual systems working together. So you'll understand most of those things once we're finished. Let's start out with working some flexibility. One thing that really helps our balance is flexibility of our calf muscles, believe it or not, because our ankles are really what help us to adjust more easily to shifts in balance. If your ankles are super tight or weak, then it makes you use your hips. And when you use your hips, you're more likely to throw yourself off balance. One of the first things I always recommend is calf stretches every day. Now, to do a calf stretch, you simply get your body into a lunge position. You can either put your hands on a wall or on a chair. Put 1 foot forward and 1 foot back. Make sure your heel is straight back, so your toe and your heel are in one line, and you're leaning forward until you feel a stretch. So you want to stretch with your knees straight. That muscle that works our ankle, one of the muscles, has a connection on the other side of the knee. You want to have it straight. And I recommend you hold these stretches for at least a minute on each leg, and if you're doing both at the same time, I would hold it for 2 minutes. And while you're doing the stretch, if you want, you can challenge your balance a little bit to make it benefit both stretching and working on your balance skills. Maybe you put one hand up on the wall, maybe two hands up, and maybe slowly release. So if you're using a chair, you could do one hand on the chair, or maybe no hands on the chair, so that you're working on this balance in an asymmetrical position as well as stretching your calf. So after you do that one calf, we're going to do the other calf. So I'm going to have us hold it for about 45 seconds to a minute, so we're getting the benefit of the stretch. Let's go ahead and do the other side. So the other foot straight back. You want to make sure your heel is on the floor, your toes are straight ahead, and your knee is straight. Start out with good support so that your body can feel what's supposed to happen. And then as you're here, you can start maybe challenging your balance a little bit, making it benefit two things at once, flexibility and balance. Maybe lift one hand, maybe two hands, maybe no hands. But if you feel at all off balance while you're doing that, go ahead and hold on to something. Because the most important thing here is that we're doing the stretch. So as you're stretching your calf muscle, it's going to be easier to do the other exercises because you're going to have more flexibility in that area. If you feel any pain or discomfort, shorten your stance a little bit, make it not so aggressive. But you definitely want to be able to feel the stretch that's happening on the back of the calf muscle. All the way from your heel to maybe past your knee, so that you're getting that whole muscle stretched out. So after you stretch your calf muscles, a really great thing to do is strengthen the muscles on the front of your shin. And to do that, it helps to lean your hips against the wall, or I'm going to use a chair. So you put your hips against a chair or the wall, your feet come forward, and you're going to lift your toes. So it seems like it's pretty simple, but it really targets that muscle on the front of the shin, another muscle that helps you balance. So I would recommend doing 20 toe lifts every day and doing that stretch that we just did every single day. Something simple, something easy to add to your daily routine. And you'll notice after you get to about 10 of these toe lifts, your ankle muscles start to get tired. I can already feel my ankle muscles getting tired. So I'm going to keep going until I count about 20 repetitions. And then once I get to 20, then I'm going to stop the repetitions and notice my ankles are going to feel more alive, more ready to work. So the next activity we're going to do is to work on our balance forward and back. So the first thing to do is to feel your feet, and you can either wear shoes or be barefoot. Being barefoot allows you to feel a little bit more of the surface, which is an advantage, but as you know, a lot of times we're wearing shoes, so it's good to practice without shoes and with shoes. So just rock yourself from heel to toe, and as you do so, you're going to feel your foot, the whole surface of the foot, and then maybe side to side. So you're just teaching your body to use the whole foot. And you can do a little sway side to side or forward and back. So this will help you start feeling your feet on the floor and also strengthening the muscles that stabilize your feet and ankles. If you're feeling really stable here and it feels pretty easy for you, this is when you start adding an unstable surface under your feet. So you could use a blanket, as I have here, or if you want a super challenge, you use something even more unstable, like a soft pillow, or if you have one of those balance boards at home, that's even more challenging. And you're just simply going to stand on that soft surface. And you'll notice immediately when you're standing on a soft surface that your ankles are going to have to work a little harder. They're noticing, wow, this isn't stable. So you might feel a gentle sway, either forward and back or side to side. And I would practice this about, I don't know, a couple minutes every day, just getting your feet on a surface that's unstable. So this is with our eyes wide open and our gaze straight ahead. So when you're doing this with your eyes wide open and your gaze straight ahead, you're focusing your eyes on one thing. As you focus your eyes on one thing, you're going to notice it's easier to balance. So as you're doing this, whether you're on the floor or on something unstable, we can make it a little more challenging. So I'm going to take you through a progression of the challenge, and then you only do it where you feel safe, where you don't feel like you're going to lose your balance. So level 1 would be on a flat surface, eyes wide open, gazing at one spot on the wall. Level 2 would be eyes wide open, flat surface, or if you're already on the unstable surface, you could stay there. And what you would do is start turning your head. So now I'm going to turn my head side to side. So as you turn your head slowly side to side, notice if you're having a little bit more challenge balancing, because now you've taken your vision and changed it. And remember, we talked about our vision being one of the things that help us to balance. So you would turn your head side to side and see if you can maintain your balance. The next thing you might want to do is look up and down. Again, you'll notice that it challenges your balance. As you change your gaze, your body has to accommodate to that change in input. So maybe you do 5 head turns side to side and 5 gazes up and down. And then you could try it again. Just turning your head side to side, noticing if that makes you a little bit unstable, especially if you're on the unstable surface. And that's a good thing. You're teaching your body how to accommodate. Because in real life, we don't stand statically and just look at one spot. We're looking around, we're changing our gaze points. So we want to simulate what happens in real life. Then you can look up and down again. Again, noticing if you feel any difference in your balance and letting your body accommodate to it. If you feel thrown off balance with this, that you need to grab something, I would recommend you decrease one level, either go off the unstable surface or maybe not look as far up and down. So, after you do that, you're going to change a different thing about the vision. You're going to keep your head still, but you're going to turn your eyes side to side. So again, you're either on the floor or an unstable surface, and you literally take your eyes left and right. And maybe 5 times in each direction, keeping your head still. And boy, I can feel that really affect my balance. So everybody has different things that their body is more used to, and you just kind of help train it to start getting used to different inputs. So after look side to side, try looking up and down. Remember, your head stays still and your eyes are moving. So my eyeballs are moving up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And then let's go back side to side. My head stays still and your eyes are going left and right, and left and right, and left and right, left and right, left and right, and then try again, head still, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Good. So after you do that, you're going to challenge your body a little bit more by moving as you're looking side to side and moving your eyes. So we're going to step off the unstable surface if we're on an unstable surface and get it to the side. If your chair is in your way, you would move your chair out of the way. If you have any concerns about this throwing you off balance, I would do this next to a wall, because basically what we're going to do is walk back and forth. So in this video, I'm only going to be able to walk a short distance, but if you're at home or in a gym, you could walk as far as you want, maybe 20, 30 feet. And the first thing you're going to do is walk and turn your head left and right. Because what that's going to do is similar to when you're on the unstable surface. It's going to change your balance challenge because you're turning your head as you're walking. You want to turn your head fairly slowly. And again, if you can walk further, I would recommend that versus turning and walking such a short distance as I am. And as you're walking, I want you to walk heel toe and just notice what this does to your balance. I'm really noticing it's making me feel slightly off balance. If you feel a little dizzy, pause, stop, look at one spot, let your balance recalibrate, and then once you feel stable, try it again. So the next thing you would do is try looking up and down as you're walking. Because this is real life. We're walking down the mall, we're looking at stores, we're talking to our friends. We're not just keeping our head straight ahead, we're actually looking around. We might look down at the floor to see if we're going to trip over something. But we also may look straight up. Maybe we see an airplane. There's lots of things in life that cause us to need to turn our head. So we want to do the same thing to accommodate our body to these challenges. So after you walk a little bit looking up and down, guess what the next thing is? Keep your head still, walk, and turn your eyeballs side to side. So I'm looking straight ahead, but I'm turning my eyes side to side. And you'll notice that's going to be a different challenge. And it's really hard not to turn your head and only turn your eyes. So again, do what's comfortable for you. And if it's throwing you off balance, that's a good thing, because that shows you are on your edge, that you're really making your body accommodate to all these different inputs. And your brain is very smart, and it will learn how to deal with these challenges. And when you're in an unfamiliar situation, your balance is going to be calibrated and ready automatically. You won't have to think. And that's important, because when we lose our balance, we usually don't have time to think. So you're going to want to get really good at accommodating. So that after you look side to side with your eyeballs, try looking up and down. So I'm walking and my eyeballs are going up and down, up and down, up and down, but my head is staying still. And that's going to create, again, a different challenge. And maybe your eyes get tired because those are muscles too. So it's good for us to exercise our eye muscles. So this is called visual vestibular training. We're integrating those two types of systems so that we're getting our body ready to try to balance more easily. Right, after you do that a few times, we're ready for the ultimate challenge, which is eyes closed. Now this sometimes is too much for most people. I definitely recommend you be by a support surface or the wall so that you're able to grab something if you start to go off balance. Definitely start with your feet apart and just see what it's like to stand with your feet hip width apart and close your eyes. Sometimes once we close our eyes, we're totally thrown off balance, so I would definitely open your eyes up if you feel like you're going to fall over. And you want to try to get up to like 30 seconds with your eyes closed. And you're going to notice a natural sway of the body. That's normal. Don't be alarmed because your body is trying to say, okay, I can't see anything. So now I have to use my nervous system to balance you because I don't have vision to depend on. So this is a system that is an issue if you get up at night and there's no lights and you're going to the restroom and you lose your balance. You don't understand why. It's because it's dark and you don't have your visual system to help you. So after you do that, if that feels good, try it with your feet together. So again, this is a progression. You would not progress unless you got to the point where you felt really stable at the first step. So if the first one felt unstable, just do that one again. If you want to progress, you bring your feet side by side. So it's a smaller base of support, and you again close your eyes. And you will definitely start noticing more of a sway with your eyes closed. And again, if you lose your balance, just simply open your eyes, or open your eyes and grab onto the wall or your chair. But just notice as your body starts to sway what's happening. So after about 20 to 30 seconds, open your eyes. If you're ready for the next challenge, you put your feet in what we call semi-tandem. That means one foot slightly forward of the other, not heel toe, but slightly forward. And you do the same thing. You close your eyes. And you want to just keep yourself calm. Notice what's going on. And if you feel off balance, definitely open your eyes. And see if you can get up to 30 seconds with your feet in this position. You might start out at 2 seconds, and that's okay. Over time, you start to increase the amount of time that you're able to do this position. After you do about 20-30 seconds, open your eyes and you're going to switch. So now, whatever foot was in front, you put the other foot in front, because we have usually one side that's a little more dominant than the other. And you're going to close your eyes, and I can already tell this side's harder for me personally. And notice what this does to your balance. Try to keep calm, keep breathing. And after about 20 to 30 seconds, you open your eyes. So if you're already feeling challenged, you just repeat the one that's more easy for you. And maybe do 2 or 3 rounds of each exercise that I'm showing you so that you're getting that repetition. The next level, if you're doing really well at those levels, is heel in front of the opposite toe. So it's like you're literally standing on a straight line. This is pretty challenging. Then you close your eyes. And boy, do I feel my ankles working. And my body wanting to stagger or step. And if I get to that point, if you get to that point, open your eyes, get your balance back, and then reclose them. So this is pretty advanced to be able to stand heel-toe with your eyes closed. But it's certainly something you can work towards. And then try the other foot in front. So heel-toe, other foot in front, soft knees. Maybe you start with your eyes open, because even with eyes open, this is pretty challenging. And then you close your eyes if you want to level it up. Whoa! So definitely this is one of the more challenging exercises. And it really shows you how much we use our vision to keep us balanced. Because when my eyes are open, I have no problem standing like this. But once I close my eyes, I'm literally fighting to keep my balance. And then when you're done, open your eyes. So the next thing you might want to practice is single limb balance, which is standing on one leg. And usually that's pretty challenging for a lot of people who have balance issues, so I'm going to start you with the easiest as I did the other exercises, and then slowly make it more challenging. So if you are unable to stand on one foot at all without support, rather than holding on to something, I would like you to put your foot up on something stable. So I have a yoga block here that I'm going to use. You don't have to use a yoga block. You could use a couple of books. Anything that just lifts that one leg off the surface. So you would put your foot up on something stable and then stand. And see if you can maintain your balance without holding on. And here I usually only have people stand for 5 to 10 seconds. And if you're doing really well at this, you would lift your foot off, but then you have that right there to grab or to put your foot back on. So rather than grabbing onto something to regain your balance, put your foot back down to regain your balance. So you would stand with your foot on, excuse me, a block or book, and then lift your foot off and see if you can maintain your balance with your foot right above it, but then if you lose your balance, put your foot right back down. Working up to 10 seconds. You can stand with your foot lifted for 10 seconds and your eyes still, that's pretty good. Then you would switch legs. Usually you have one leg that's a lot better than the other. Start out with if you're having a lot of trouble doing it without support, rather than holding on, just have something nearby, but put your foot up on something stable and just keep your balance. This also starts to work your hip muscles as well as your ankles, which are important for your balance. And then if you're feeling really stable, you start to lift your foot up in the air. So you're starting to practice standing on one leg for longer and longer periods of time, working up to 10 seconds on each leg. And doing several repetitions is really good as well. So after you do a few of those single limb balance exercises, let's do that one more time. So if you need something under your foot, put it there. If not, just hold your leg up. Hands on hips is helpful. And usually if you're starting out, you want to keep your gaze straight ahead. If you're ready for a bigger challenge, you start adding those visual challenges we did with the feet on the floor. Your first visual challenge would be to turn your head side to side looking, and then up and down. And then putting your foot down if you lose your balance, which I just did. And then switch legs. Again, either level 1, standing with your foot on the surface, eyes gaze ahead. If that's easy for you, level 2, foot off the surface, eyes gaze ahead. And then you start adding variables. Maybe you go to foot off the surface, turning your head side to side. And up and down. Putting that foot down when you lose your balance, rather than grabbing onto something. Because that teaches your body that when you lose your balance, you move your foot versus trying to hold on to something. Now the hardest level would be, of course, eyes closed. So if you're really wanting to challenge your balance, start out with your foot on the block and close your eyes first. I would start there because that is pretty challenging, just to have your foot off the surface, even if it's on a block, and having your eyes closed. You'll really feel that side that you're standing on working, all the muscles turning on to keep your balance. Then you would try the other side. Foot on a surface, eyes closed. Working up to about 10 seconds. And if these exercises are too hard for you, keep repeating the ones that were less challenging so that you get really good at those before you try something that's going to throw you way off balance. And I wonder if you can guess what the very hardest would be. I'm not even sure I can do it. The most challenging would be eyes closed. So you would start without your foot on the surface. Start with your foot on the surface, lift it up, and then close your eyes. But make sure you're near something that you can put your foot down on. I'm trying not to grab the chair, but if you need to grab it, it's better than falling. And work up 5 to 10 seconds of holding your foot in the air with your eyes closed. And then try the other side. It might just be fun as an experiment to see, can I even do that? Can I even close my eyes and stand on one foot? In yoga class, when people get really good at tree pose, I tell them to try to close their eyes. And that really adds a challenge to a yoga pose that gets pretty easy for people over time. But they've trained themselves to get to that level. All right, so those are some static balance things you can do. Now we're going to do some more dynamic things similar to the walking. So you want to get your chair out of the way if you're there. And similar thought, the first thing is you're going to walk straight ahead. And what you're going to do is walk with your feet close together like you're walking along a straight line but not heel toe. So now I'm narrowing my base of support. And again, you don't have to walk short distances like I am in the video. Walk maybe all the way down your hall. If you can hear my voice, just keep walking and turn around, and your feet are just close together. Heel toe as you take a step. And then if that's easy, you take it to your tandem walk, which is heel in front of the toe. Straight ahead. And maybe you go backwards. So I'm just giving you lots of different variations to try. And when you narrow your base of support, we're walking heel toe. We're having to use our balance more. And going backwards, heel toe. Now, if you really want to make it challenging, you start changing your gazing point. So you would turn your head side to side as you're walking heel toe or tandem. And you could even try that backward. Side to side, looking with the gaze as you're walking. And you could look up and down. Up and down, and I'm walking heel toe or feet side by side. You decide what level you want to work at. And then what you could try is what we call grapevine. You may remember this if you ever did aerobics. Cross over and uncross. Over and uncross. Over and uncross. And you go back the other way. Step and cross. Step and cross. Step and cross. Then you go the other way behind. Step behind. Step behind. Step behind. Try it back. Step behind. Step behind. Step behind. Step behind. Now you can keep doing either one of those, or you can add it together. Go across and then behind. And across and then behind. Going back, across and behind. Across and behind. So you're just, again, challenging. One of the things that really helps with balance is dance. So if you are someone who enjoys dance, put on some good music and dance. That's one of the best ways to work your balance. Make it fun. So maybe while you're doing these exercises, you put music on. So it's a lot more fun. And they've found that working with music helps create new connections in the brain. So it's not just enjoying it, but it's also using your science to help you. So after you do a few grapevines, you could do some marches. So if we step and we're marching, we're making ourselves balance each time we're doing a march step. So it's a slow march. So you're increasing your single limb balance. In all of these, you can progress by adding the head turn. So I could do the grapevine with the head turn. That takes a lot of coordination. This takes a lot of coordination. You could do the marching with the head turn. You could do the head turn up and down when you're marching. All these things just to add more and more variables so your body really has to work to keep its balance. And then come back and notice how you feel. If you ever feel off balance, just pause. Maybe take a deep breath. Definitely gaze at one spot. If any of these activities make you feel nauseous or lightheaded, it's because your vestibular system's trying to accommodate, so you might want to sit down, take a few minutes to get your balance back and try it again on another day. The last piece is to work on strength, and this would be strengthening your muscles in your hips. We already worked on our ankles. We worked on pulling our toes up. What you would also want to add is doing heel raises. So going up on your toes, heel raises create strength in the calf muscle. If this makes it hard to balance, hold on to the wall or a chair. I would recommend being able to go up on your toes probably 30 to 40 times before you get tired. These muscles need to be really, really strong. And you could also move to single leg heel lifts. So you're lifting your heel, working on those calf muscles, getting them nice and strong and able to accommodate. Maybe 10 on each side. Once you go to one leg, it's a lot harder. You're lifting your entire body weight with one leg. So maybe start with 20 or maybe 15. And then switch sides and do the other side. Working on those calf muscles, lifting and lowering the heel. And you can always do 2 at one time. After you do your calf raises, it's a great time to do your calf stretch, because now those muscles are really warm. So at the end of your balance practice, going back to your calf stretch, holding it maybe 30, 40 seconds to 2 minutes, breathing and feeling that stretch in the back of our calves. And then switching sides, feeling that calf stretch, holding. And letting those muscles get nice and flexible. Very important. If I have to say, if I had to pick one thing to do to help your balance, this would probably be it. Stretching the calves every single day. And then the last muscle group we can strengthen is the outer hips. So you could start with just standing one foot and lifting your leg to the side. So notice as I stand on one foot and lift my leg to the side, I'm not leaning. I'm actually keeping my body nice and tall over the stance leg. And I'm keeping my knee and toes straight ahead. A lot of times people will want to lift and turn their hip. Keep your knee and toes straight ahead. 3 sets of 15 to 20 on each leg. And if this starts to get easy, you'll start to add resistance. You can put an ankle weight on your ankle. You could put a band around your knees or ankle. Anything to give you a little bit more resistance. You'll feel a lot of work in the leg you're standing on because it's stabilizing you. So go ahead and try the other side. Make sure you have something to hold on to if you need it. But work up to the level where you can stand and lift your leg to the side without holding on to something. Because that's really going to fire up those hip muscles as long as you're not leaning over. So this is a great exercise to do in front of a mirror. Maybe you do it in the morning and at night when you're brushing your teeth. I tell a lot of my clients to do their balance exercises, their rehab exercises during times they're already doing something else that's a daily habit, such as brushing your teeth, putting on your makeup if you're a lady. Anytime you can maybe work on switch legs, keeping your balance while you're doing something else, washing dishes at the sink, maybe making a grocery list. You stand at the counter and you just stand on one leg, and just making it a daily intervention that you're adding that balance challenge, standing on one leg or doing leg lifts, and doing another activity. And let's switch legs. So it's nice and tall, leg out to the side. And if this starts to get easy, add some resistance, maybe a band around your ankles or around your thighs, so that you're adding a little bit more resistance to those muscles in the outer hips. Make sure you keep your knee and toes straight ahead so you're not turning your hips sideways. And then when you get fatigued, you could do a little thigh stretch that might feel really good. So a really nice stretch for the outer hips is our figure 4. You can lay down on your back or simply just sit in a chair. And sitting up straight, you may already get a stretch, or if you start to lean forward, you definitely will get a stretch. And you want to hold this stretch maybe a minute or so and breathe into your hips. Letting that muscle that you were just working relax a little bit. Balance exercises really are helpful to do every day. So you don't have to do this whole routine. Just do a few of the exercises that are more challenging. Slip them into your daily routine so that you're not losing your skills. We've all of us change legs for our stretch, either sit upright or lean forward. We've all heard the saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. And think about when you were younger, especially as a child, all the things we did that kept our bodies really balanced. We got on, merry-go-rounds. We ran and jumped and played. We did somersaults. We did cartwheels. We did lots of climbing. All those things as adults we don't do anymore. And then when we try to do something that involves any shift of our head in gravity, we get off balance. So we want to reintroduce those skills to our body and our brain and tell our body and brain, hey, we can relearn these skills. That way, when you are in a challenging situation or in a situation which is unsteady, you are having automatic reactions. Thank you for joining me for this balance workout. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at the JCC. My email is fityogatherapy@gmail.com, and I'm a personal trainer at the JCC. You can contact me there or contact me through Jenny Krebs. Have a great day. I look forward to seeing you.